and now we come to Bhakti movement questions like this, we can say. With reference to religious history of medieval India, the Sufi mystics were known to pursue which of the following practices? 2012. So we'll compare because previously we discussed about art and culture, about certain qualities of different mystics also, are different art and culture personalities we have seen. So we'll also see here itself only, that is Sufi and Bhakti personalities questions were asked. Now meditation, control of breath. Then again severe ascetic exercise in a lonely place. Then recitation of holy songs to arouse a state of ecstasy in their audience, which is called as sama. Musical gatherings are called as sama. So all of them are right. We'll understand the concept. So meditation, control of breath, all these things they borrowed from the Bhakti saints also. So all of them are correct. Okay. So because Sufi movement, it talks about majorly, again different strands of Sufi movement are there. The major strand that affected or which was had positive impact on India is the Chishti Sufi movement, or we can say tolerance Sufi movement, which was there. So all of them were the features of the Sufi movement. Now we'll understand what is Sufi movement. Sufi means purity in Arabic. Sufi means purity in Arabic. At the same time, it also one more Arabic word is there. Okay, Arabic word that is Suf. It means wool. Because most of the time you must have seen the Sufi ascetics and they were wandering with wearing certain kind of woolen coats. Okay, so that is woolen cloths, and that is also word that is referred to Sufi movement. And that is what Sufi movement represents, almost similar to Bhakti movement in Hinduism. And that Bhakti movement in Hinduism is majorly that deep devotion. And here also deep devotion we can see. Here also deep devotion we can definitely see. And that is communication with the God through practices, with certain what kind of practices? Ascetic practices, different pronunciation. And then again that is called as mysticism. It means you can have your own individual relationship with the God. You don't require any kind of middleman. Okay, then again prayer, meditation, then again fasting. Okay, and at the same time pranayama also. Okay, so revelation means reading of scriptures, reading of Quran, reading of hadith. Okay, so all these are part of the Sufi movement itself. And financing too. Again, all these things goes back to little bit Buddhism and Jainism concepts too. Financing concept in Jainism, that is also there in Sufi movement. That is what they borrowed concept from each other. Buddhism, Jainism, then again Sufi movement, Bhakti movement, they borrowed each other, influenced the other path. And pranayam, holding breath, that is same statement was there over there. Okay, and ecstatic love towards God. You want to achieve nearness to the God. Okay, and how do you achieve nearness to the God? Through musics, through bhajans and kirtanas, that is in Bhakti movement. Here that is called as different musical gathering, that is called as sama gatherings, that is called as. And then again they also criticize the old religious rigid belief systems. Okay, they criticize the following of Sharia in its truest sense. They wanted to reform that particular thing. Okay, so which is not, because society was becoming dynamic, they did not want to remain with the rigid belief system. Okay, at the same time, due to increasing materialism of the caliphate, because the 4 caliphates are there, that is Umayyad Caliphate, then again Rashidun Caliphate. Okay, so you must have also talked about Abbasid Caliphate. You must have also known about Ottoman Caliphate. So initially, especially for the time of 8th and 9th century time period, there was Rashidun Caliphate, then Umayyad Caliphate, and his caliphates were becoming more and more materialistic, because caliphates are nothing but these are successors of Prophet Muhammad. And these individuals in Persia, okay, those who oppose this materialism of caliphate, showing off the wealth, and they disillusioned with that one. And these individuals in Persian region, that is Iran and Iraq region, Middle East, and they turned into this kind of Sufi ideals, and that is turned into asceticism. Okay, so when time, that is around 8th century AD we can talk about, during time period of 8th century AD. So these are how Sufi movement also originated. We understood the concept of Sufi movement, and we also understood how it evolved too. That is evolved as a kind of a nature of reaction against the materialism of the caliphate, as a reaction against the materialism of the caliphates, and have started to spread by the time of the 10th century. Okay, and now we can talk about Sufism. What it opposed display of wealth, immorality, social discrimination. It believed in equality of the society. It believed that all individuals should be respected, tolerance aspect, and they believed in service and love of humanity. And what they supported, it can go against these particular ideals. Social equality they supported, tolerance between different religion they supported. Okay, social mobility they supported. There are certain core ideas of Sufism are there, and the core ideas of Sufism are the concept of soul. Again, you talk about Vedanta philosophy little bit. We can draw some kind of symmetry in between that one. Then Kurba, that means divine proximity, achieve nearness to God. Same thing in Bhakti movement. Then infusion of the divine spirit. And then lastly, talk about the ishq, the love towards God, and self-annihilation are the central part of the theory. Self-annihilation means fana, that is the word that is used. Okay, fana is the word. And now we will see the organization of the Sufis right now. This organization of the Sufis in different orders, different schools on the base of their belief system. And what is the belief system we'll come to, and these orders or schools are called as the silsilas. And each silsila, that is each Sufi silsila, are 12 Sufi silsilas are there, and each Sufi silsila was headed by a prominent mystic and who can communicate with the God, who can achieve nearness to the God, that is there, and is a kind of a teacher of that particular school, like Chishti silsila, Suhrawardi silsila, Naqshbandi silsila, and the teacher are disciples, okay, and the teacher is called as Pir, and disciples are called as Murid. Okay, disciples are called as Murid. They live in place. These disciples and teachers used to live in a kind of isolated place, and that place is called as Kanka. Isolated place is called as Kanka. And particularly the link between these teachers and disciples, that is also one of the core concepts of Sufism. The link between Guru as well as the disciples. Okay, and the Pir, that is the teacher appointed deputies called as walis to carry out their religious spiritual duties in any one particular region. At the same time, teacher also chooses successor. The successor is called as Khalifa. Almost a similar term for successor of Prophet Muhammad is also called as Caliphs. So, and the successor of this particular school is also called as Khalifa only. Okay, and Sufi orders are there. The Sufi schools, like I told you, that 12 silsilas are there, and these 12 silsilas are divided into two groups again, on the basis of the belief system in Shariat. Okay, that is Ba-shara, then again Be-shara. So, entire 12 silsilas, few are Ba-shara and few are Be-shara. What do you mean by Ba-shara? Ba-shara is very simple. They believed in Shariat and they believed in silsila. That is in the particular school itself. The rules and regulation of the particular school, they believed in that one. And they believed in Shariat not in its truest sense. And they also liberal interpretation of Shariat also happened. Because when we look at Qadri and Naqshbandi silsilas, and they also, both of them are Ba-shara only. They believed in Shariat. But one school is completely the rigid interpretation of Shariat, the other school is liberal interpretation of Shariat. Then Be-shara means that they do not believe in Shariat, and generally they are followed by wandering signs. This kind of belief system are followed by wandering signs. These wandering signs are called as calendars. Now this term is used in one of the answer options. I will come to that one. We'll come to that question. And there is no written account of these particular schools, because we have written accounts of these schools are there. Ba-shara schools are there. So we'll discuss 4 schools on the basis of this belief system, Ba-shara and Be-shara. And then we will understand how there's diverse tendencies within Sufi movement we can also see over there. Okay, and compared to Ba-shara, these Be-shara people are much more open-minded, much more liberal interpretation. Some Sufi schools, so we can talk about 2 Sufi schools, Chishti as well as Suhrawardi school, that is Ba-shara, it means believed in Shariat. Again, not completely in Shariat itself only, they wanted liberal interpretation of Shariat. And it is majorly famous in Delhi, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan region. And the founder of this particular school is called as Moinuddin Chishti. And Moinuddin Chishti ultimately he moved to Ajmer, a famous Ajmer Dargah that is related to this particular school itself only. And again some other Sufis of this particular school, Fariduddin Ganzi Shakar. Then again some of his verses of Fariduddin Ganzi Shakar could be seen in Adi Granth, in Guru Granth Sahib, of holy scriptures of the Sikh religion. Then again Nizamuddin Auliya is very famous for yoga practices. And then again Banda Nawaz, also called as, that is Nawaz Muhammad Banda, particularly from Karnataka region. And then again this system, this particular school, their ideas, no politics, no interference in politics, and again simple life, living a life of austerity, okay, seeking alms from day to day, and believed in religious tolerance, financing, fasting, religious tolerance, okay, and engage with the debates with the other religious personalities like Hindu yogis as well as Jaina yogis, and Hindu monks and Jaina monks. And this is called as what? Chishti silsila. And what is Suhrawardi silsila? It is Ba-shara. It is also Ba-shara. And look at the differences. We will see the differences between these 2 schools. Then only we will understand how there's a diversified tendencies are there in these particular schools. And it is majorly in Punjab and Sindh region. This school was famous. At the same time, this was founded by Bahauddin Zakaria. And it's quite opposite of Chistis. Even though they are Sufis itself only, their ideas are quite opposite, because they believed in kind of a poverty kind of life. They did not believe in poverty life. They want to live in ordinary life, not like a luxurious life, but ordinary life with normal food, normal dresses, okay, and accepted the state offices. The political interference is there, but they don't interfere in politics, okay. At the same time, accepted gifts and donation, material possession they accepted, but Chistis did not accept any kind of material possession. The reason is they wanted to live on day-to-day begging. Okay, that is Chistis lived on day-to-day alms seeking. Day-to-day alms seeking. Okay, so that is a major difference between Chishti silsila as well as Suhrawardi silsila. Again, the question is not repeated from this particular angle, but 1 year it was asked, maybe it's been a while. 2012 was the last question asked about Sufi movement, and now if we can expect any question, so we have all the details over there. Again, 2 more schools are there. One is Naqshbandi. We will compare Naqshbandi as well as Qadri. Again, look at that one. How orthodox this particular school is, established by Khwaja Bahauddin Naqshbandi. Okay, and practice meditation, that is there, but orthodox tendency, because they opposed Akbar's policies and they followed Sharia law in its purest form. Whatever that is written in Sharia, they accepted it. But Chistis also accepted Sharia, but they want a liberal interpretation of that one. And they said that when God and devotee is kind of master and slave relationship. Again, link with Dvaita philosophy of Madhvacharya, we discussed. Dvaita philosophy of Madhvacharya. But here, they say that one, that is, it is not of love relationship, but as a master and slave relationship. And against the liberal policy of Akbar, like I told you, they opposed the liberal policy of Akbar, like Salhekal, then Tawhid Ilahi, and then again, Ibadat Khana. So all these things they opposed. They were against Sama also, against musical gathering. They considered it is un-Islamic. There's one more school that is called as Qadri. Again, look at that one. This is also Sufi school, but look at how completely liberal this school is. Again, it is Sheikh Abdul Qadir is the founder, and it's a completely liberal, and also believed in unity of being. It means there is one term is used for unity of being, and that is Wahadat al-Wujud. It means the creator and the entity, everything is same. The creator is God, and the creation is creation, one and similar. Again, it can be related to Advaita. It can be related to Advaita. We discuss Advaita philosophy in art and culture. That's everything is same. They can dismiss orthodoxy. This is orthodoxy. They dismiss this particular thing. And Mughal rulers, certain rulers, and even women ruler also, that is Jahanara, and again the brother of, we can say, Aurangzeb, Darashikoh, they followed this particular Sufi school, that is Qadri school. And this is about Sufi movement. Certain terms of Sufi schools are there, and again you can go to that one, that is Tawbah, it means repentance, Zikr means recitation of God's name, and then again Ars means death anniversary or death of a Sufi saint is called as Ars. These are certain terms that is related to Sufi movement. And now we'll come to one more personality, Sheikh Ahmad Sirindi, because this was there in one of the questions also. That is belong to Naqshbandi order, he belonged to. Again, Hanafi jurist. Hanafi is one of the philosophical schools, one of the schools of Islam. Okay, is one of the philosophical schools of Islam, Hanafi jurist. Okay, and contemporary of Akbar and Jahangir. And he was again Dini Ilahi. Dini Ilahi means that is a concept brought by Akbar. It's a kind of an ethical society that is brought by Akbar. It was not a new religion like somebody says that one, that is he wanted to establish a new religion. Okay, it was not the new religion Akbar brought, but it was at a kind of an ethical society, had some certain rules and regulations. Okay.